In history, there are individuals who shine without needing the spotlight. In literature, there are characters who leave an indelible mark without being the main protagonist. And in Water Margin, one of the four great classical novels of China, this truth is even more evident through the heroes of Liangshan Marsh. They are not merely rebels, they are symbols of chivalry, of the uprising of those pushed to the very edge of despair. When people think of Liangshan Marsh, they often picture Lin Chong, the mighty panther head. But have you ever wondered, among the more than 100 heroes gathered there, who was truly the strongest? Was it really Lin Chong? Or was it an unexpected name that truly stood as the greatest martial general of Liangshan? In today's video, we will unveil the truth with you, analyzing each figure among the 5 tiger generals of Liangshan, matching their strengths and ultimately arriving at the final answer, an answer that may very well surprise you. If you are passionate about history, fascinated by heroic legends, and eager to uncover the lesser-known facets of classic masterpieces, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you won't miss our deep and inspiring journey through history. 5. Zhang Qing, the Imperial Spear Wall. Among the 5 tiger generals of Liangshan Marsh, if Guan Sheng inherited the bloodline of heroes, Lin Chong embodied the tragic grandeur of a fallen scholar. Yanzhuo combined intelligence and chivalry, and Qin Ming blazed with the sacred fire of courage. Then Zhang Qing brought something entirely different, a blend of innate talent, rebellious spirit, and a destiny fraught with hardship. Zhang Qing was unlike any of his Liangshan comrades. He came from a different path, not entirely oppressed by the imperial court, nor fully driven by a spirit of rebellion. He was a wild general, a battle genius born of the mountains and forests, forever standing at the crossroads between light and darkness. Zhang Qing's fame did not stem from mastery of the spear or the saber, but from a rare skill among military generals, the art of precise stone throwing. In his first encounter against Liangshan's forces, he used nothing but stones to knock down 14 of their best warriors, including Guan Sheng and Yanzhuo heroes whose names resounded across battlefields. This astonishing feat earned him the nickname the Imperial Spear Wall, a fortress impossible to breach once one entered the range of his flying stones. Yet great talent often comes with great flaws. Zhang Qing's fatal weakness was his arrogance and overconfidence. He was so assured of his abilities that he underestimated strategy and intrigue, leading him to fall into a trap devised by Liangshan's strategist, Wu Yong. After his capture, he surrendered. But interestingly, he neither resented nor wallowed in defeat. True to his rebellious nature, he accepted reality head-on. This straightforward attitude made him a unique figure among the Liangshan heroes. He sought no favor, offered no explanations, he simply fought, earned merit, and let his talent speak louder than any words. During the campaign to quell Tianhu's rebellion, Zhang Qing and Qin Ming, the woman he fell in love with and later married, achieved a legendary feat. Together they worked inside and outside enemy lines, one infiltrating from within, while the other coordinated attacks from outside, ultimately capturing Tianhu alive. This was not merely a military victory, but a testament to Zhang Qing's adaptability strategy and courage, a stark contrast to the cold, defiant image people often associated with him. However, as if fated by cruel destiny, Zhang Qing's brilliant career ended in a bitter death. During the campaign against Fang La, he was killed by the enemy general Li Tianrun at the Dongsong Pass. Once again, his inherent weakness, poor performance in close combat, proved fatal when his stone-throwing skills could no longer turn the tide. His death was neither grand nor glorious, but it raised a haunting question. Is raw talent enough to surpass one's limits if there is no awareness to correct obvious flaws? Zhang Qing was a living paradox among the 5 tiger generals. He didn't fit the traditional mold of a hero, yet he stood shoulder to shoulder with the most illustrious names. His distinction did not lie in his military exploits alone, but in his spirit. A fighter who refused to be confined by conventions, he symbolized freedom, an extreme form of freedom that could either create miracles or lead to ruin if left unchecked. And precisely because of this, Zhang Qing, though not the strongest, remains an irreplaceable part of the epic tapestry of Liangshan Marsh. He reminds us that worthiness is not reserved only for the calm and composed. Some are wild, defiant, and unruly, yet they carry a unique light, the light of individuality and unyielding spirit, untamed by the tides of time. 4. Qin Ming the Thunderbolt Fire. The nickname Thunderbolt Fire describes more than just Qin Ming's powerful physique or his thunderous voice. It captures his fiery temperament, a direct and uncalculating flame that could blaze fiercely, yet be easily extinguished by the treacherous traps life had laid. Qin Ming embodied the archetype of the hardened, courageous general, yet he lacked a degree of cunning needed to escape the snares of turbulent times. Even during his time in Qingzhou, Qin Ming had already earned fame and respect as a commanding officer. He led his troops with discipline and decisiveness, carrying the true bearing of a mighty general. Yet sadly, his fate was not determined by his achievements, but by a straightforwardness so uncompromising it became his downfall. Upon hearing that Hua Rong, a close comrade in arms, had betrayed him, Qin Ming, in a fit of fury, marched his army to suppress the rebellion. Little did he know that his rashness would lead him straight into Song Jiang's trap, resulting in his capture. It was the first time Qin Ming tasted defeat, not because of weakness, but because of unguarded honesty in a world teeming with deception. Yet, Qin Ming's greatest virtue did not lie in his battlefield exploits, but in his heart. After being won over by Song Jiang, he not only surrendered, but wholeheartedly devoted himself to the cause. He was willing to return to Qingzhou, the very place that had branded him a traitor, to persuade Huang Xin to join Liangshan. Few have the courage to return to a place where they were once reviled. Even fewer have the heart to set aside personal pride for a greater cause. And it was this that transformed Qin Ming from a mere fierce general into a true warrior, one who understood that true strength lies not only in the fiery swing of a spiked club, but also in the humility to set aside ego in service of a larger ideal. Qin Ming was always at the forefront of battle. For him, charging into combat was not just a duty, but a way of life. He did not calculate, did not plot or scheme, but his raw honesty made him a steadfast pillar among the Liangshan brothers. Men like Qin Ming were not the strategists, but they were the ones who stood at the front lines, shielding others from arrows and blades. In any brotherhood, men like him were indispensable. However, his fiery temperament was a double-edged sword. In the battle at Tangxi, Qin Ming did not hesitate to charge into the ranks of Feng La's forces leading the vanguard. Yet because of his impetuous nature, he failed to anticipate Fang Ji's schemes and perished on the battlefield. His death was a harsh reminder of a cruel truth on the battlefield. Sometimes courage alone is not enough. Clarity of mind is just as vital. And men like Qin Ming, despite their bravery, often fall not to sharper blades, but to colder, more calculated minds. Still, Qin Ming was never a failure. He needed no schemes to be remembered. It was his simplicity, his burning passion, and his heart, ablaze with righteousness, that made him a symbol of blinding honesty, of sacrifice, without the need for praise, of a soldier who lived his life balanced on the razor's edge between glory and tragedy. In a world where the cunning often outlived the bold, Qin Ming's death was a heroic anthem, brief, fierce, but never fading. The memory of Qin Ming echoes like thunder from the realm of chivalry, reminding us that not all who fall are defeated. Some die, yet leave behind the resounding legacy of courage, lighting the way for those who follow. And if one asks what makes Qin Ming worthy of standing among the five Tiger generals, the answer is simple. He fought not only with weapons, but with a heart that would never yield to injustice. 3. Yanzhuo, the Twin Maces. Yanzhuo once served as a military officer stationed at Qingzhou, a prestigious position within the Song dynasty's army. In the early days, he was a formidable opponent for Liangshan, inflicting heavy setbacks upon them. With his brilliant chained horse tactics, Yanzhuo was not merely a hardened general. He was a true strategist, deeply understanding the laws of the battlefield, knowing when to strike, when to bait, and when to pause and reset the chessboard. Therefore, his eventual surrender was not simply a defeat. It was a calculated choice, after being captured through Guan Sheng's ploy. Yanzhuo did not struggle or stubbornly resist. Instead, he calmly observed those he once called enemies. In them, he saw not just bravery, but true camaraderie and sacrifice for a shared ideal, something the imperial court he once served had long since lost. Once he recognized this, he chose to join them, not out of coercion, but because he had finally found a cause worthy of his loyalty. After joining Liangshan, Yanzhuo was far from a passive member. On the contrary, he became one of the pillars of the righteous army. In the campaign against the Liao forces, he captured the famed general Liu Tianshou in the suppression campaigns against Tianhu and Wang Qing. He fearlessly ventured into danger, always leading the charge. Yet his true achievement lay not just in battlefield victories, but in his ability to shift fluidly between raw strength and strategic intellect. When brute force was needed, he wielded his twin iron maces with unmatched ferocity. When cunning was required, he posed as a surrendered officer, infiltrating enemy lines to create openings for Liangshan's forces. Unlike many of his Liangshan comrades, Yanzhuo's life was not cut short. After the campaign against Fang La, he was appointed commander of military affairs, a fitting reward for his contributions. But when the Jurchen forces invaded, and Emperor Gaozong of Song fled into the deep forests in panic, Yanzhuo, despite his retirement in Haidian County, picked up his maces once more. Despite his old age and weariness, he returned to the battlefield. He did not die in triumph, but fell protecting his emperor. His death was not as grandiose as Lu Zhishen's or as haunting as Lin Chong's, but it left behind a profound message. Loyalty is not tied to status. It lies in the choices one makes when faced with the shifting tides of fate. What set Yanzhuo apart was that he was never impulsive. He was calm, rational, and full of inner strength. Although he did not appear as frequently as Song Jiang or Li Kui, every appearance he made was unforgettable. For in him, power did not reside in sheer muscle, but in an unshakable aura, and when that aura aligned with a righteous cause, he became a true pillar, needing no titles, no embellishments, standing firm like an immovable gate. Yanzhuo serves as the portrait of an awakened warrior, a man not ruled by emotion, not shackled by prejudice, always knowing when to fight and when to let go. His life reminds us sometimes the path of righteousness doesn't reveal itself in the blare of war horns, but in the silent choice between two paths, one leading to status, the other to integrity. And only those with true courage can choose correctly, even at the cost of everything. 2. Guan Sheng, the great saber Guan Sheng. When it comes to strength, to the qualities of a supreme general at Liangshan Marsh, the name that commands universal respect is Guan Sheng, revered as the great saber Guan Sheng, the one who carried within him the spirit of Guan Yu's bloodline and the valor of a war god in chaotic times. Guan Sheng did not come from poverty, nor was he driven to rebellion by imperial oppression like many of his Liangshan brothers. On the contrary, he was a military officer under the Song dynasty, Inspector General of Bodong Prefecture, holding clear rank and prestige. Yet it was precisely this that made his presence at Liangshan so remarkable. He was not a man crushed by circumstance. He chose his path willingly. When loyalty conflicted with a corrupted reality, when officialdom no longer deserved his trust, he cast aside status and title to become a warrior living for an ideal. Guan Sheng's greatness was not in grand speeches, but in every decisive action. When Liangshan attacked Daming Prefecture, he charged into battle alone, smashing through 15 war chariots, leaving the Liangshan forces in awe. His strength was overwhelming, but Guan Sheng was more than brute force. He was a master of strategy and wisdom. Thanks to his plans, many enemy generals were captured alive during major battles, helping transform Liangshan from a ragtag band into a feared military force. Yet his true greatness lay not merely in victories, but in how he devoted his intellect and might to serve a righteous cause. Never aggressive, never arrogant, always upholding the spirit of justice, no matter his role. One thing that earned Guan Sheng eternal respect was that he was among the few generals who survived the brutal and bloody campaign against Fang La, a campaign where countless comrades fell. Yet after returning, he sought neither glory nor power. The hero who once struck fear into the hearts of enemies fell not on the battlefield, but from a mundane accident falling off his horse while drunk. That seemingly ordinary death carried a haunting bitterness, a reminder that no matter how mighty heroes too are bound by the fragile impermanence of human life. And perhaps it is precisely this fragility that renders their brilliance immortal in the hearts of later generations. Guan Sheng was not only the strongest in martial arts among the 5 tiger generals, but also a shining example of a scholar-warrior's spirit. He did not need to be among the first to join Liangshan, yet he played a key role in shaping its rise. He did not clamor for recognition because true strength speaks for itself. He left no thunderous oaths behind, for his loyalty to justice was etched not in words, but in blood, in steel, and in the silent dignity with which he departed this world. Among the many heroes, each cast their own light, but Guan Sheng's glow carried the hues of calm steadfastness and wisdom. His light was not as blazing as fire, nor as blinding as the sun. It was the guiding star, silent, constant, and fierce. Thus, regardless of debates over who was the strongest at Liangshan, Guan Sheng remains the benchmark of a true great general, one who balanced intellect and courage, who spoke little but acted decisively, who was strong but never extreme, and who knew when to walk away with honor. And that is what made him immortal, not just in the pages of literature, but in the hearts of those who still believe true strength is not the ability to destroy, but the power to uphold justice amidst a world of chaos. 1. Lin Chong, the Panther Head. If there was ever a man who earned the admiration of comrades, struck fear into the hearts of enemies, and became unforgettable to future generations, it was Lin Chong, the Panther Head, acclaimed as the finest warrior among the 5 tiger generals. He did not come to Liangshan through schemes or ambitions, but through the shattered heart of a scholar warrior betrayed by the imperial court. Yet from that tragedy, he carved out a path of glorious victories, becoming a true god of war on the battlefield. In martial skill, Lin Chong was a master of the 8-snake lance, a weapon that demanded absolute technique, speed, strength, and precision. He once fought both Guan Sheng and Qin Ming simultaneously, 2 of Liangshan's mightiest generals, and held his ground without faltering. Over 50 bouts, not only did he endure, but he almost unseated Guan Sheng from his horse, forcing his opponent to admit that Lin Chong was the most formidable adversary he had ever faced. It was clear in one-on-one combat, no one surpassed Lin Chong, but Lin Chong was more than just technical mastery. He was an endurance fighter of exceptional grit. Across Liangshan's major campaigns against the Liao invaders, against the rebels, Tianhu and Wang Qing, and in the campaign to suppress Fang La, he was always the spearhead, personally taking down enemy commanders. Notably, during the Fang La campaign, he killed the famed General Chen with a single armor-piercing strike. His lethal precision didn't stem from recklessness, but from rigorous training, vast experience, and lightning-fast adaptability on the field. What made Lin Chong even more remarkable was not just his personal strength, but his ability to hold the line during the direst moments. In sieges and pursuits, he often served as the stormtrooper, breaking enemy lines to clear a path for the main forces. He once shattered the Liao forces' encirclement, saving countless comrades from certain death. His ferocity was likened to a maddened panther tearing through a forest of swords and spears, unstoppable and untamed. In bearing, Lin Chong radiated the aura of a silent warrior, never boastful, never showy, but possessing an undeniable, chilling presence. Dressed in green armor with a cross-tied headscarf and gripping his 8-snake lance, his dagger-like gaze and massive physique alone would cause enemy troops to falter. His aura was that of a man forged in the Imperial Guard, disciplined, ethical, devastating in attack, yet composed with a chilling calm. Unlike many heroes who joined Liangshan due to circumstance or notoriety, Lin Chong came early and upheld his principles steadfastly, though he bore a deep vendetta against the treacherous official Gao Chu. He never let vengeance blind him. He always acted with reason and loyalty to the greater cause. Even when given the chance for personal revenge, he prioritized Liangshan's broader interests over his own hatred. This marked him as a man of martial skill, virtue, and wisdom, a true pillar of the righteous brotherhood. After the Fang La campaign ended, Lin Chong did not seek glory or riches. He withdrew to the Luhe Temple, carrying a body broken by illness, and quietly passed away. Yet it was this silent departure that etched him into eternal memory. He needed no titles, no medals to become a legend. His legacy was written in blood, in the art of the spear, and in unwavering loyalty until his final breath. Thus, among all of Liangshan's heroes, Lin Chong was not only the most skilled, but also the most profound and complete. He embodied the ideal of the perfect warrior, supreme technique, peerless combat endurance, steadfast principles, and unwavering loyalty. If Liangshan Marsh were a grand sculpture of loyalty and righteousness, then Lin Chong would be its boldest and most beautiful stroke.